My name's Misha. I work as a realtor here in Baltimore. I love Baltimore because I'm from Baltimore. I was born in Towson. I grew up in Lauraville, Hamilton, and now I live in Towson.
Time to lay claim to the evidence. Fingerprints saw me out, but our footprints wash away from the docks downtown. It's been getting late for days, dashed in the soft deserted love. A little time off, we can kick it in for hours and just mouth off about the world and how we know it's going straight to hell.
So you mentioned that you grew up in Lauraville. Tell us a bit about what that was like.
I did. So growing up in Lauraville, which is a northeast Baltimore neighborhood, I think it's really sort of, it kind of encapsulates, what it's like to grow up in any sort of like East Coast town, an older city. My life in Lauraville was really a distinct chapter from where we live now, because we lived in an old house. It was in the city. We had sidewalks, and the houses were close together. We were close to downtown. So it was a different experience. When you're that close to downtown, or when you're that close to a city and other people, there's like a very visceral, sense of community that you don't necessarily always get in the county. And I think, from a young age, that was something that was kind of instilled in me, and to a lesser extent, my brother, really kind of what city life meant to us.
Now, what does city life mean to you?
I think city life means being part of something greater than yourself, and regardless of what city you're in. And the interesting thing about Baltimore is that most of the natives have a profound love-hate relationship with the place. You love it because it's where you're from, you want to see it grow, but at the same time there's this juxtaposition where you're so frustrated with the problems that keep cropping up, and you want that change to occur for the better.
What would you change about the city?
It's hard to say. I don't think I'd change anything about the city. I think I'd change things about sort of the attitudes of the people here. Like I referred to earlier, it's kind of one of those things where, if you're from Baltimore, you can trash talk the city all you want, but if you're not from Baltimore and we hear you trash talking the city, then it's a problem. The biggest problem that we've had is just sort of a sense of solidarity and community. I can recall in high school in the county, a lot of our friends had never gone downtown. Sitting here in Fells Point was something they had never done until they reached the drinking age and the bars brought them down to Fells Point. But it was never something that they wanted to explore on their own. I think that's what I would change. I would change sort of an awareness for all the great things that we do have here. The fact that though it's a small town, we have a lot of just awesome places to go, things to see, people to meet. But there's a lot of magic here.
Well, what are you most passionate about?
I'm passionate about a lot of things, but in the context of my job, the reason I chose this was because I really believe that that a sense of place is extremely important. Where you live really influences a lot on your life, on your well-being, on your kind of inner peace. And I think that at its core, selling real estate isn't about selling a house. It's not about selling a neighborhood. It's really about selling a life somewhere, making people happy in that regard, connecting them to some place they want to live, they want to grow, they want to raise a family, and hopefully, where they want to have a life.
Why do you think people are so drawn to Fells Point and Canton when they're searching for houses?
Well, people are drawn to Fells Point, basically for the scenery, for the water, for the bars. But I think a lot of people are drawn to Fells, for the same reason I am. There's a huge sense of permanence here that goes back almost 300 years. And then you have the water, which is probably Baltimore's most prominent feature. It's just a great thing to be around. I know myself, I always find peace and tranquility by being by the water. It's something important to me. I couldn't imagine living in a city that wasn't near the water. When I think of myself as an old man, I think of myself living somewhere near the water and being able to walk down to a river or a lake or ocean. and I think that comes from being from here.
Honey, the Jaeger's so sweet, but if it keeps you around, then I'm down. Meet me on State Street. I'll take you out the wrong, hardly worth your time.